Title: My plane is now worth less than my car. There was a moment recently that made me stop and laugh, and then think. I was standing in my garage looking at my car, modern technology, comfortable seats, advanced safety systems. And when I checked the market value, I realized something surprising. My car is now worth more than my airplane. Yes, the airplane sitting in my hangar, the machine that carries me hundreds of miles through the sky, the aircraft that took years of training to learn to fly, is now worth less than the car I drive to the airport. And if you're new to aviation, that might sound unbelievable. But for many pilots, especially those flying classic aircraft, it's becoming more common than people think. Today, I want to talk about why this happens, what it says about the aviation market, and why some of the most affordable airplanes in the world might actually be hiding in plain sight. Because if you're someone who dreams of owning an airplane one day, the story behind this might completely change how you look at aviation. Let me take you back to when I bought my airplane. At the time, I wasn't looking for something flashy. I wasn't shopping for a turbine. I wasn't even looking for something particularly fast. What I wanted was something honest, reliable, a classic personal airplane that had been proving itself for decades. Something like a Piper Cherokee 140, 160 horsepower. If you've spent any time around general aviation, you already know that airplane. Simple, solid, forgiving. It's one of the aircraft that introduced thousands of pilots to cross-country flying, and at the time it seemed like a very reasonable purchase. Not cheap, but certainly manageable compared to newer aircraft. Now compare that to the modern aviation world. Look at aircraft like the Cirrus SR-22 or the sleek Diamond DA-50 RG. Beautiful machines, advanced avionics, safety systems that would have seemed impossible 30 years ago. But the price tags? They're in an entirely different universe. And then, of course, there are the aircraft at the top of the ladder, the kind of machines that redefine what personal aviation can look like. Aircraft like the Honda Jet Elite 2, or the Cessna Citation Longitude, or the incredible long-range business jets like the Falcon 10X, Gulfstream G800, and Global 8000. These airplanes represent the cutting edge of aviation technology, but they also cost more than most people will spend in several lifetimes. Meanwhile, something fascinating has been happening at the other end of the aviation spectrum. Many classic airplanes have quietly become incredibly affordable. Aircraft like the Grumman AA-1, the Beechcraft Musketeer Sundowner, or even the Cessna 150. These airplanes once served as the backbone of flight training across North America and Europe. And today, some of them cost less than a new pickup truck. Sometimes, significantly less. Which leads to the strange situation I found myself in recently. My daily car, a comfortable modern vehicle with heated seats and driver assist technology, worth more than my airplane. And yet my airplane can travel 300 miles in an afternoon. It can cross mountains. It can visit airports in 3 different states before dinner. Try doing that with a car. But here's where the story becomes more interesting. Because the value of an airplane isn't just about the purchase price, it's about what the airplane allows you to do. Take something like the Cessna 172 Skyhawk, arguably one of the most famous airplanes ever built. It's not fast, it's not glamorous, but it has trained generations of pilots and carried millions of passengers. And if you own one, you suddenly have the ability to explore the world in a way that cars simply can't match. Another example is the Cessna 182 Skylane, slightly more powerful, capable of carrying more weight, comfortable for longer trips. Many pilots consider it one of the best all-around personal aircraft ever designed. And compared to the price of many luxury cars today, some older Skylanes actually look like a bargain. Now let's pause here for a moment, because this raises an interesting question. If you had the choice, would you rather own a brand new luxury car or a classic airplane like a Piper Comanche, Socata TB-20 Trinidad, or Beechcraft Bonanza G36? Think about that. One sits in traffic, the other lets you fly above it. Write your answer in the comments. I'm always fascinated by how different people answer that question. As I spent more time thinking about this, I realized something else. The aviation world has quietly split into 2 very different markets. On one side, you have the high-end machines, aircraft like the Pilatus PC-12 NGX, Daher TBM 960, or Piper M700 Fury. Incredible performance, advanced avionics, luxury interiors, but prices that rival corporate jets from a generation ago. On the other side, you have the classic piston aircraft, machines that may not have glass cockpits or turbine engines, but are still perfectly capable of taking you almost anywhere. Aircraft like the Cessna 210 Centurion, the Piper Saratoga, or the Mooney M20U Ovation Ultra. These airplanes still travel faster than most cars will ever drive, and they can do it while crossing mountains, lakes, and entire regions in a single afternoon. There's also a growing group of aircraft that sit somewhere in between, modern experimental or light utility aircraft, airplanes like the Vans RV-10, Sling T-Psi, or Pipistrel Panthera. These machines combine modern performance with relatively manageable costs, and for many pilots today, they represent the most exciting part of personal aviation. Then there's another category entirely, adventure aircraft, the kind of airplanes that aren't about speed, but about freedom. Aircraft like the Cubcrafters X-Cub, Kitfox Series 7, or Just Aircraft Superstall, machines designed to land where most airplanes never could. Riverbanks, grass strips, mountain valleys. That kind of flying has its own magic. Some pilots go even further. They explore amphibious aviation with aircraft like the Icon A5, or bush flying with legends like the de Havilland Canada DHC-2 Beaver, flying that feels closer to exploration than transportation. And interestingly, many of those airplanes cost far less than high-end luxury cars. Now, here's something I want you to think about. Imagine you're retired. You have time, you have good weather, and you have an airplane waiting in the hangar. Would you want something fast for long travel, like the Cirrus SR-22 or Cessna TTX? Something rugged for adventure, like the Quest Kodiak 100 or Cessna Turbo 206H Stationaire HD? Or something simple and nostalgic, like the Piper Cub J3? Tell me in the comments, because that choice says a lot about the kind of flying you truly love. The truth is, airplanes don't always follow the same economic rules as cars. Cars lose value quickly as they age. Airplanes can hold value for decades, especially if they're maintained well. Some classics even become more valuable over time. Aircraft like the Beechcraft Baron G58, Diamond DA62, or Piper Seneca 5 continue to attract pilots who need reliability and capability. But even when an airplane becomes cheap compared to modern vehicles, its real value isn't measured in dollars. It's measured in experiences, sunset flights, weekend trips, unexpected adventures, moments when you lift off the runway and realize that the world suddenly became much bigger and much more accessible. So yes, my airplane might now be worth less than my car. But the truth? The airplane is still the most valuable machine I own, because a car takes me to work, but an airplane takes me anywhere.